What's going on, my good people? Welcome back to Play to Win with More Than a Coach. Mike Holmes here, where I focus on scholarship over emotionalism when dealing with each aspect of life. And today I'm back with the second part of my series that self is the law that one must master. You can go back and check my first video that I did, the first part of the series where I explained, I self, law, and master, what it meant to play the win way. Today I'm going to be doing the second part. And in this part of the I self is the law one must master to play the win way, I will be discussing one's zodiacal energy and getting to know oneself a little better. And so jumping right into it, I'm going to go ahead and define zodiac. Zodiac is defined as a belt of the heavens within about 8 degrees either side of the ecliptic, including all apparent positions of the sun, the moon, and the most familiar planets. It is divided into 12 equal divisions or signs, which are Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And so energy is defined as the strength and vitality required for sustained mental and physical activity. And the origin of energy comes from Greek. It is spelled E-N, and it is defined as within. And then also Greek and the word ergon, which is work. And so what this says to me is that there's an energy at work within you, or there's an energy working within you. Or like I said before in another video, you can go within and work. And so with that being said, dealing with the zodiac, from my experience and, just observing, a lot of people are familiar with their zodiac sign. And even with myself, through my research and study, I just found out that there is more about oneself. Like I say, that's why I'm doing this series that I self is the law that one must master. And so what most people are familiar with, from my observation, is that they're familiar with their sun sign. And dealing with the zodiac, you have the sun sign, and the sun sign is defined as where the sun was at your time of birth. And this is your core identity, it's your vitality, and also it's the ego. And so through my research and study, I found out also that dealing in the zodiac, we have what is called the moon sign as well, which is another aspect of yourself. And so the moon sign happens at the time of birth when conceived, which includes the date, time, and place of birth. The moon sign deals with one's inner feeling and one's emotional nature. So, for me discovering that, understand that we all have an emotional nature too, that we're going to react and handle things a certain way because we have our own unique emotional nature, which is something that I didn't know, which, like I say, is something that I discovered through my research and study. Then also there's another aspect of oneself, as an individual, and that's called the ascendant or rising sign when you're dealing with the zodiac. So the zodiac that was rising on the eastern horizon at birth is your ascendant or rising sign. It's the energy you exude when you first meet someone. It can influence physical characteristics, and it reveals how you initiate things, how you take action, and how you approach new situations and challenges. The rising sign goes beyond your sun sign and adds another layer of complexity and individuality to your personality. And so on this journey of mastering one's individual self, this is key to know, as one can start to understand the different aspects of one's personality, makeup, and nature a little better. And like when I always say, when you understand yourself better, then you can understand others better as well. And that's why I like this series, and that's why I like this talk and this message, because it's about mastering yourself. Really take your focus off of other people, about what other people may be doing and what they're not doing, and then you're learning to focus on yourself and master yourself and understand why you do some things or why you don't do some things, or why it may be easier for you to do certain things or why it may be more challenging for you to do other things. And that's the biggest message, that's the biggest, takeaway I want people to get from this series, really understanding yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then you can love yourself, you know what I'm saying? You appreciate yourself, you know, enjoy yourself. And you exude those things and you put those things out, you know what I'm saying, in the universe. So moving on to the next part is we're going to talk about your star and also desire. So desire is defined as a strong feeling for something to happen which originated from the word desiderate. Desiderate means to feel keen desire for, which breaks down to de, which means down, and then sidus, sidus, which breaks down to sitter, cider, which translates to star. Desiderate, the word desiderate stems from the word consider. Consider is defined as to think about and be drawn toward or regard someone as having a specified quality. And so with this, like I say, star, you have a star, that you were born under, with the zodiac. And so you do have specified qualities. And so consider originated from the Latin sitter, and sidus, which is star, which I just explained. In Latin, considerate, which means to examine. So consider breaks down from the Latin sitter, which translates to sidus, sidus, which translates to star. And then the Latin considerare, translates to examine. And examine means to inspect someone or something in detail to determine their nature or condition, to investigate thoroughly. And so to play the wind way, this to examine, to inspect someone or something, we're going to inspect, oneself. We're going to inspect oneself, we're going to inspect our, ourselves, our individual self in detail to determine our nature and condition. We're going to investigate it thoroughly with this message. That's what I'm talking about. I, self, is the law that one must master. And so, with that being said, this is saying to me that one should examine her or his star. And so what is a star? So let's define star. Star informal, is nativity. And it's the occasion of a person's birth. Native, of a quality belonging to a person's character from birth rather than acquired, which is innate. And star in astrology is a planet, constellation, or configuration as influencing someone's fortune or their personality relating to the time of birth. And then star also figuratively is defined as of a celebrity or prosperity of a person to perform brilliantly or prominently in a particular endeavor or event, outstandingly good or successful. And so that event or that endeavor is one's life. You know what I'm saying? So to perform brilliantly or prominently in your life. And you can do that by, like I say, mastering the I and the self, So, with that being said, we're going to keep moving here. And I hope again, let me just bring it back, like I say. So basically like your star, Now let's get back to dealing with your star. Now, dealing with your star, there are certain characteristics, like I talked about in the definition. Like I say, your star is the occasion of a person's birth, and there are certain qualities that belong to. There are certain qualities and character that one has from birth, and that deals with their zodiac sign. There are certain characteristics that come along with that sign. And so, with this section, I want to talk about some of those characteristics to deal with each zodiac sign, and then I want to deal with the ideal fields of endeavor that fits, each individual zodiac the best. That will flourish in it, that there will be a star in, perform prominently in, like according to the definition. And then that will wrap up my talk for this video, for this part of the series dealing with zodiacal energy. So getting started, beginning with Aries. Aries, strong suitors, they govern self-confidence, they govern personal power, and they govern action. Taurus governs stability, security, and grounding. On to Gemini. Gemini governs communication, self-expression, and truth. Cancer governs love, compassion, and emotional balance. Leos, they govern communication, self-expression, and leadership. The Virgos, they govern organization, practicality, and analytical skills. Libra governs balance, harmony, and relationships. Scorpio governs emotions, creativity, and sensuality. Sagittarius governs communication, truth, and exploration. Capricorn governs discipline, ambition, and responsibility. Aquarius governs intuition, insight, and vision. And Pisces governs spirituality, intuition, and connection to the divine. And now moving on to the ideal fields of endeavor for each sign. Aries, would be good at being an entrepreneur, an athlete, or a military officer. Taurus would be good at a financial, ideal fields of endeavor. Financial advisor, chef, or real estate agent. The ideal field of endeavor for a Gemini is a journalist, teacher, or public relations. For Cancer, a nurse, counselor, or a social worker. Leo could be an actor, manager, or creative director. Virgo, the ideal field of endeavor is accountant, editor, or research scientist. The ideal for Libra is a lawyer, diplomat, interior design. For Scorpio, a detective, a psychologist, or a surgeon. Sagittarius, a travel writer, professor, or a salesperson. Capricorn, a CEO, financial analyst, or engineer. Aquarius, a scientist, inventor, or humanitarian. And ending and rounding it all out is Pisces. Ideal would be an artist, a musician, and or a therapist. And with that being said, that is my talk today on zodiacal energy. Peace and play to win.